Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. And in just a few minutes, Rich Savinci is going to be with us talking about consultants in the workplace. He always has some very interesting observations about what's going on. Including things that carry over to non-consultants in the workplace and looking for a job. Lately, we've been taking 10 seconds to be grateful. An attitude of gratitude. Can't be unhappy when you're grateful. So think of 3 things today that made you grateful. Go. Being grateful. You can't be unhappy when you're grateful. I wanted to spend a special few minutes in this session talking about prayer and its influence when you're looking for a job. We've often mentioned that looking for a job is one of the most emotionally difficult things that people do. And next to death of a spouse, death of a child, death of a parent, coupled with divorce, the fourth most emotional thing that people do is look for a job. And I found over the years since 1973 that prayer really helps people in their job search. If you aren't already praying, then you need to start, especially when you're looking for a job. If you're already praying and it's already a habit in your life, then it'll make all the difference in the world. But it's something that you need to be aware of. Let me tell you about some of the benefits that I've found that prayer does for people's lives in the job search. Studies have shown that prayer improves your health. It is something that makes you more healthy. It is it it is uh, it improves your expectations of yourself and gives you a power to be just generally take care of yourself better. It gives you more humility. Prayer centers around just a lot of being humble and realizing that you aren't the center of the universe and that there's a lot of things that go on that you don't have any control of and you can't have control of. And it gives you a sense that you can only you can only influence what you can control. And especially in the job search, one of the biggest problems people have is that they can control so little about what happens in the job search that they get frustrated and angry when they don't get chosen, when they don't get picked, when there's very little. The only thing you can control is getting a number of interviews, performing well in those interviews, and after that, there's really not much anybody can do. And you have to realize that. So, on top of the humility of prayer, you've got the humility of the job search itself. If you're already praying, you're functioning in a humble environment to begin with. So, the humility of the job search is uh, just a continuation of the humility that you're already experiencing. There's a peacefulness that comes along with prayer. It's a go-to type of thing where you offer up your spirit and your soul and everything to a higher being and a higher uh, form of spirit that you don't worry as much because you're guided by a spiritual being, a spiritual entity that's beyond you, that's greater than you, and you expect that and you understand that. People that pray have a better sense of self. They're much more comfortable with where they are in their lives. And they are, as I say, humble, but they recognize where they are. Their egos don't get too out of line. Oh, once in a while, but not very often. It is the humility causes them to put themselves in the right situation. It increases a much better attitude. It improves the attitude. The humility puts your attitude in a situation where it's much more reasonable. I found that people that pray on their job search, pray before they interview, pray after they interview. They just have a much better attitude about the whole thing. It's an attitude of acceptance and understanding. Doesn't mean they don't try. It means that they give it everything they've got, but their attitude is better. And the last thing probably is they have a sense of connection. A sense of connection not only with God, but with the people that they interview with. They have a sense of connection, a spiritual connection, whether they get hired or not. They realize a spiritual connection with the people that they've interviewed with is greater than anything that might transpire, whether they get hired or not. They realize that we're all in this together and we're all spiritual beings. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashara with the Job Search Solution.